Pickens. We've been going to RHC for about 6.5 years now. We moved up from South Carolina. While being at RHC, we've been blessed with 2 children, Benjamin, who's now 4, and Eloise, 2.
One of the interesting things that Pastor Bill talked about in the story of the Israelites going to Babylon and being called to plant a garden and build a house and marry in and have kids and create a life in a place. The struggle that probably honestly was. It probably wasn't easy. That probably wasn't exciting news to hear in some regards. I mean, they were ripped from everything that they knew, their culture, their heritage, and how hard that would be psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, to trust God in that process. But God was telling his people to lean in and do the hard things. And obviously we are not captives in DC. We freely choose to live here. And over the years we've had opportunities to choose to go somewhere else and to build a life somewhere else. But it has become clear that God has called us to be a part of this community. And for us that means building a family of the people who are around us.
And I think like a lot of us within the DC area have like vocations that are very national or outwards focused. And then with having like 2 new kids, we can be very inward focused in our family, and then vocationally very outward focus of like DC. And so I think the like values within RHC has just been a really good constant reminder of like, what does it look like to love your neighbor? Like, I think we can overcomplicate what the gospel is and how we reach others. But like at the end of the day, it's loving God and loving your neighbor. And how do you do that in the neighborhood that you are? And even just like as you travel through the DC, we talk about like dwelling in the city, but like when we're in Northeast, DC is very different than Northwest DC, and it's very different than Arlington. It's also been so great to be part of these different community groups and plugging into like the local area and like the local needs of just the neighbors on our row, and learning how to seek the welfare of those, not in the broader city, but also just like within our like common spaces that we operate in our neighborhoods.
We're a part of the Lopez's community group right now, and it's been incredible, even just like some of the initiatives that they've done, and even talking to other community groups in the Park area as we look at starting our own, hopefully this fall.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug, join us. It's been really fun to see just how committed to Kingman Park these different groups have been, and how much they want to work together to not just be individual lights, but also be a kind of covering of the entire area of people who love the Lord and really want to just be in life and in community with the people who live alongside of us.
You might not know this about us, but we're both introverts. And so like doing like church is obviously really great. We love joining on Sundays, but it's hard to like develop those intimate friendships at church. I think it's probably hard for extroverts too, I think feel like you are connected to your area unless you join into like a little bit more of an intimate group. And so like for those that are like new to the city, just like strongly encourage you to like
don't wait
and don't like keep thinking, well, like maybe this would be a better time or that be time. I just like encourage you to just like pick one and try it out, and in worst case scenario it doesn't work and you try a different one, and that's okay.
It takes some grit. Like if you want to build a life somewhere, it takes work and it takes courage, and you really just have to understand that that's what God's calling you to, and have faith to just jump into it, which can be super scary. One interesting component of living in DC and trying to build a life here is that there is a lot of come and go. People arrive all the time, people leave all the time, and that can be very taxing as you're having to say goodbye to people and constantly meeting new people and trying to go deep with people. And that is an interesting burden, I would say, in the DC area. It's just an interesting concept of the level of difficulty that God calls us to, and yet he always provides for that. And yeah, it's hard and it's exhausting, and there are seasons where you are just weary and begging for God to give you the strength that you need. And yet he does. Every single time when I look back at my own life and I think about the seasons that we've gone through, I think about the ways that God provided and how clear he made it that we are called to be here, and that means going all in. There's no more holding back. You're here and you go all in, and that's what it looks like for us to dwell. And that takes courage. And I also think that it just takes a deep crying out to the Lord to show up. And the great thing is that he does, and that's one of his promises to us. I think a huge help is community. And even just learning from other people's experiences who have been here longer or have walked through similar things that we go through, of having them remind us of the goodness of God, the truth of who He is, the power of the Holy Spirit at work, not only in the communities around us, but even in our own hearts. This is such a huge calling for us, and it is something that we cannot do alone. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are so thrilled to just be here and to be building this community. We're in it for the long haul.